in Fallout 4, you can wear multiple helmets, as many as you want, by using the headwear stacking glitch, and as a result you can take 0% damage. And in this video I am going to show you how you can do this. Hi, I'm Mo and I'm trapped in Fallout. In order to perform this glitch, we will need a few things. You will need at least 6 marine armor chest pieces and 6 marine armor helmets, and all of these marine chest and helmet pieces must have the assault modification applied to them. So if you happen to have a few that do not have assault, they have something like the inquisitors or the zealot modifications instead, then you will need to sort of visit a armor workbench and change them to an assault. You will also need 12 pipe pistols, and you will need any other random collection of helmets. They can be legendaries, non-legendaries, it doesn't really matter. In my instance, I happen to have 7 helmets, all that give sentinel, but more on that in a moment. So to get started, for step 1 of this glitch, you will also need to make sure that you have nothing in your inventory. You need to make sure your inventory is pretty much empty. Now, if you happen to have some stuff in your inventory that you cannot remove, such as quest items, then you will still be able to use this glitch. It's just that you might need to use a little bit of a workaround to do that. And again, we'll talk about that when we start to talk about naming your weapons. So with that out of the way, the first thing we're going to do is take 1 pipe pistol. And once you've taken that pipe pistol, go to a weapons workbench and scrap that pipe pistol. And as a result of scrapping that pipe pistol, you will now have some steel in your inventory. Now, with that done, take another 1 pipe pistol and take 1 marine armor helmet. Now open your inventory, and this will change depending on what language the game you're playing in, depending on the name of your armor. You will need to take the first 4 letters of the name of your marine armor helmet. So in my case, the first word happens to be assault, and the first 4 letters following the capitalization of the letters happens to be an uppercase A, 2 lowercase s's, and a lowercase a. Now this is where, if you happen to have other quest items, you may want to use more of those letters. So if you don't have any quest items, using just the first 4 letters should work. But if you happen to have other quest items on you, you may need to use 5, 6 or even more. So for the moment, we're just going to go with the first 4 letters. What you want to do is go into your weapons workbench and rename your pipe pistol to the first 4 letters of your marine armor helmet, taking into account the capitalization of the letters also. So in my case, I have renamed my weapon to capital A, 2 lowercase s's, and then an A. Once you've done that, exit the workbench. Now what you need to do is perform a quick save. Now if you happen to be playing on survival, you will not be able to do this. You cannot quick save in survival. So what you can do instead is have something like a bed nearby and sleep in the bed, and as a result of sleeping in the bed, that will perform effectively a proxy quick save for you. So perform a quick save. Once you've done that, you now need to perform the scrap and modify glitch on your weapon. This is a really common and well-known glitch where you can use this to move modifications across from one weapon or armor to another weapon or another armor. So we need to perform this glitch now, and the way to do that is to press the scrap and modify button at exactly the same time. Now if you do it right, you should see this screen where you can see the scrap menu on top of the weapon modification menu. The reason why we did a quick save is chances are you probably won't get this right on the first go. This is rather tricky to do. So if you end up scrapping your weapon accidentally, then you can reload your save file and try again. So once you're on this screen, what you want to do now is press the scrap button, making sure not to press anything else after. And if you've done it right, you should see the marine armor helmet now appear on your screen. The reason this has appeared is because you renamed your weapon to ASSA. Now this step is rather important and can be quite confusing. What you want to do now is press left on your D-pad. So don't press the right button on your D-pad. Make sure you press the left button on your D-pad. And if you do that, on the bottom of this menu, if you have a look, we currently see the modify button and the back button. But the moment you press the left button on your D-pad, which I will do right now, you can now see that you now have another 2 options, the scrap and rename options. What you want to do is rename your marine armor helmet, and you want to rename it to the number 6. So right now I have renamed my marine armor helmet to 6, but the moment I sort of accept this rename change, the name will revert back to marine armor helmet. So notice that I have accepted the name change, but it's gone back to the Assault Marine Armor helmet. What you want to do now is exit this menu entirely, making sure not to apply any other modifications. And now go into your menu and go to your apparels or wherever your inventory are, and you should see that the Marine Armor helmet is renamed to 6. Now you might be asking, why have we renamed this to 6? Why such an arbitrary number? There is some reasoning behind this, and I'll go into this in a little bit more detail. But for the moment, the reason why we have renamed this to 6 is to actually make it easier for us later on when we decide to make more of these. But again, like I said, I'll describe that in more detail in a moment. But for now, this is what we need. Now go back to your container and this time take a marine chest armor piece. Again, only take one. And this time you will need access to an armor workbench. Rename that chest armor piece to 0. Once you've done that, again, exit and perform a quick save. Now go back into your armor workbench and again perform the same glitch, the scrap and modify buttons pressing at the same time. And if you do it right, you should see this screen. You should see the scrap menu on top of the armor mods modifications menu. So press the scrap button and you should see your marine armor helmet. Now there's a couple of things to take note here. Right now I haven't pressed any additional buttons other than pressing the scrap button. I've only just pressed the scrap button and I'm sort of waiting for my next move. Before we do that next move, notice the name of this helmet is 6. So that means it's picked up the correct helmet. Previously, when we were using the weapons workbench, we pressed the left button. This time you need to press the right button on your D-pad. Again, just make sure you press the right button on your D-pad. And if you do that, you should see these modifications. So if you remember at the very beginning of the video, I said you need to make sure that your helmets and your torsos all contain or have the assault modification. This is why you now want to switch to either the Zealot or the Inquisitor's modification. Select the Zealot Marine Armor modification, apply that, and once you've applied it, you should see this screen where you basically see nothing. Now you want to exit out of the whole process. So just press back, 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 and then exit. Now, if you have a look at your apparel, you should still have that helmet which is renamed to 6. Now what we will do is grab some random armor. So let's just go and grab a few. Doesn't matter how many, any number of helmets will do. If you equip a helmet, notice, and this is normal game behavior, you can only equip one helmet at a time, which again is totally normal. However, if we unequip all the helmets to begin with and now apply or equip this 6th marine glitched helmet, and now let's apply or rather wear this combat armor helmet. Notice that they're both selected. Now let's apply another helmet such as this metal helmet, and notice that at the moment I selected this one, the 6th one was automatically deselected or automatically unequipped, but I am now equipped 2 helmets at the same time, and both of their effects are being applied to me also at the same time. Now interestingly, if we try and equip a 3rd one, notice what happens. It removes our first selection. So if we carry on, it keeps on removing a selection and only ever allows us to apply just 2 helmets at any given time. So what we need to do now is create another one of these helmets, and this time we're going to call it number 5. So let's call it number 5. Now before we do that, let's remove all of our helmets, but do not remove this 6th helmet. If by some bad luck you happen to remove it, so you put it in a container or you happen to drop it or you happen to sell it, if this item leaves your inventory for any given reason, you will not be able to use this item to perform the glitch anymore. So this item needs to remain in our inventory. So now what we're going to do is repeat this glitch one more time, but this time we're going to name our marine armor helmet number 5. And again, this is circling back to why we renamed it to 6 in the first place. So before we do that, again, let's perform a quick save just to make sure we have some sort of a checkpoint to come back to. So again, step 1 is, and this time I'm going to try and speed through this a little bit more. I'm going to take one pipe pistol and I'm going to scrap it. As soon as I've scrapped it, go back, take another pipe pistol and take one marine armor helmet. Go into your weapons workbench and rename this to ASSA. Exit your weapons workbench and perform a quick save. Go back in, perform the scrap and modify glitch on it. Scrap your weapon. This time press left on the D-pad, and this time rename this to 5. So previously we renamed it to 6. This time we're going to rename it to 5. And notice that after renaming, the marine armor helmet reverted back to its own name, but that's okay. Let's exit and let's just confirm that the name has remained in our apparel, which you can see. This is why we rename with incrementally smaller numbers each time. The reason we do it is the glitched ones always stay at the bottom because they have a larger number, but the newly ones, which were yet to glitch out, remain on the top because they have a smaller number. So we go back, and this time we grab a chest piece, go to the armor workbench and rename that to 0, exit and perform a quick save, and go back in again, perform the glitch again, scrap it, and this time we need to press the right button on the D-pad, and this time we're going to apply the Zealot Marine Armor modification just like last time, and exit the whole process. And now if we go and grab those same helmets again, so again I'm going to grab about the same number of them. If we apply again any given helmet, so notice I can only apply one at a time, but if I apply these in this order, so we apply the 5th one and then the 6th one, now notice if we apply the combat armor helmet and then the metal helmet and now a 3rd one, this painted metal helmet, we can apply a 3rd helmet on top. However, the moment we try and apply, say, this combat armor helmet, we lose selection of the 1st one. So the more of these you have, the more helmets you can actually wear at any given time. So what I'm going to do now is skip to a portion of the video where I've basically got 6 of these. But before I do that, a quick humble request. If you've enjoyed the video so far and you found it useful, please do hit that like button, do leave a comment, and well, if you wish to subscribe to the channel, as all of that really helps appease the YouTube algorithm gods. Right, with that said, I'm now going to skip to the portion of the video where I have basically 6 of them ready to go. So right now I have 6 of these marine armor helmets. So just to show you, here's number 1, here's number 2, all the way up to number 6. And because they're all glitched, they can all be applied at the same time. But because we have 6, we can now effectively wear up to 7 helmets, i.e. the number of glitched helmets you have plus 1. So we can now have all of these helmets all applied to us at the same time. Now the benefit of doing this, other than what's sort of sheerly obvious, you get all the legendary effects. So if this happens to have Sentinel, but if this had something else like Lucky or Sharp or Charisma or whatever it happens to be, I would actually be able to stack all of these legendary effects on top. But the other bonus, something that's particularly useful for this glitch, is I can have multiple helmets all that have the Sentinel effect. So the Sentinel effect effectively reduces 15% of damage when you're not moving about. And by having 7 of this applied to just my headpiece, I now have a damage reduction of 105%. In other words, I will take 0 damage from anything as long as I'm not moving and just standing around doing nothing. Effectively the perfect AFK mode for Fallout 4. The other cool thing is we have worn a number of helmets. There's nothing stopping you from wearing other pieces as well. So you can apply a chest piece, an arm piece on each arm, a leg piece on each leg, and so on. So you can combine this method with other armor pieces. So with that said, let's go and actually test our newfound powers to see if we truly can reduce the amount of damage we take. So right now I happen to be in a rather famous area of the game, Carhenge, and there happens to be a behemoth right there. And if I look into my inventory, currently I'm not wearing anything, which is pretty evident from my avatar anyway. So what I will do is just approach the behemoth, and it should become hostile almost instantly and start attacking me, and I should take damage as a result. So as you can see on the bottom left, my health bar is taking a little bit of a pummeling. Now I happen to be at that rather high level, which is why I've got a good amount of HP, so that is definitely helping in my cause. But the main thing is I am definitely taking damage as a result. So now what I'm going to do is actually apply those armor pieces. So I'm going to start on the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now I'm going to apply all of these Sentinel armors. And now notice that as long as I don't move, I won't take any damage. So I'm going to try and upset him a little bit, but as you can see, my health bar is taking no damage at the moment, and that is because it's applying all those legendary effects to me. Now again, the trick is to make sure you're not moving and you're standing still when you do happen to get hit, but it is still a small price to pay to effectively live forever in the game. In this video, I showed you how you can stack multiple helmets, but you may be wondering how I managed to get 6 marine helmets and 6 marine chest pieces, given that they can be hard to come by. Well, if you click on the video you see on the screen right now, I will show you how I duplicate any weapon or any armor in Fallout 4, and this would include duplicating the marine armor pieces. Click on the video you see on the screen right now to find out more.